Okay, looks like we have a full house. It's about 5 o'clock. I'm going to reconvene from closed session. And tonight or this afternoon during closed session, the board unanimously voted to reject a claim for injury damages filed by a current COS student identified by banner ID number 000249445. The board further instructed the district to relay this rejection to the student. So with that, I would like to ask our student trustee, Brissa, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Per board policy 2350, any person may address the board at this time, either on an agenda item or other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker, with a maximum of 15 minutes per item unless otherwise extended by the board. So at this time, I would ask that if there are any comments concerning items on the agenda today. Appears to be none. So with that, public comments concerning items not on the agenda today. None as well. Okay, then we'll move on to board and executive staff reports. First, Brissa Flores with the student report.
Hello, everyone. So since our last Board of Trustees meeting, Student Senate has hosted a club social event, which is an icebreaker event for all clubs. This is an event where club representatives get to meet each other, socialize, and get to know their commissioner of clubs. Our attendance has increased a lot in the last 2 semesters, so we hope that it continues to be that way because this plays a key role in students being connected to what's going on campus. In addition to that, we had Club Rush on September 22nd. It was a really good event, and at the end of the event, 3 staffs were able to choose 3 clubs to win ICC points. And then, so the next thing that Student Senate is working on is Competition Day. This is an event where Student Senate will reach out to faculty to form teams to compete in various events with students. And the purpose of this is to get faculty more acquainted with students in a fun environment. And finally, our student body ambassador, Shane Strawn, a few weeks ago, he brought forward a bill, AB 1995. And this is a bill where that allows homeless and other enrolled students to use our shower facilities. And so the majority of the class approved the bill, and so the bill went on to Region 5 and then to SSCCC. And so the bill was approved by Governor Jerry Brown and signed on September 21st. And I believe it will be implemented next year. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Brissa? All right, thank you very much. Board member reports, starting to my left. None?
Yeah, I just want to say, if you haven't seen the COS's new play, you need to go see it. My wife said it's the best one she's ever seen at COS, so recommend you go.
It's Moliere's famous comedy Tartuffe.
Great. Earl? Lori? No report from me. So we will move to foundation report. Mr. Foster, I know, has a report.
Good evening. I just want to give you a quick progress report on our employee giving campaign. We have 21 new commitments. That's a 54% increase. We're at 60, still short of our goal of 90. We're going to make one more email solicitation this week. Our crush party outcomes, we had 14 beverage tables, 13 food tables, and just about 180 in attendance. We fell short of our goal, though. We had a $20,000 goal, and we netted $18,282, which gives $9,141 for the foundation, and the same for the chamber that we partnered with. A couple more sponsors and 20 more tickets would have got us there, but again, we fell short this time. Our Giant Alumni Quest is kicking off. I provided you with a sample questionnaire, and feel free to fill that out at your convenience. We'll also have a couple other ways that those can be completed. So we're kicking that off on Wednesday. We have 6 teams of 3, a student volunteer, a staff volunteer, and a community volunteer, working as a team to get as many of those completed from alumni amongst us as possible through their own networks and channels. We hope to build a database of at least 500 active alumni so that we can start reaching out to our community and our alumni in a little bit better way. We had our COS Foundation board retreat on the 27th. The staff presentations were well received. I can say that our board members are quite excited with the direction that the college is going and the amount of involvement that the COS Foundation has been able to provide in the successes of the college. And we did not have enough time to get through the real decision-making side of things and what we're going to do as a foundation going forward. So we're going to be chipping away at that over the next couple of months. And then I provided you with a list of updates, of event updates that are coming up. We have the Hall of Fame, the Harvest Fest, we have the Fresno State Visalia Center ribbon cutting, and then the Power of the Purse.
Thank you. Any questions for Tim? I would just like to remind everyone, I'm excited about the October 22nd event at the COS campus in Tulare. For those of you who haven't had an opportunity to visit the campus or visit even recently, I would encourage you to do so. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at what you see. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
All right, I see Dr. Lacerna's already made her way to the podium for the ongoing accreditation report.
Yes, I mentioned last time that we had 5 faculty and administrators out on accreditation site visits on visiting other campuses. So we will get some reports back on them in the upcoming weeks. In addition, we have been invited to our 2 years before your accreditation self-study, you're invited to a workshop with the ACCJC. So our workshop is going to be on October 28th, Friday, and that will be in Merced, and so we'll have a group of folks going to participate in our self-study workshop. And then also I'd like to mention that our physical therapy assistant program just went through their CAPT accreditation. Superintendent Carasosa and I were able to meet with the group, and we also attended the exit meeting. The visit went very well, and the exit report was very positive, and we felt really good about it. Lots of commendations for the PTA program. We will not know the results of that until March, but we expect it to be very good news. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, we will move on to item E, Superintendent President's Report.
I just have 2 quick items. One is a very quick reminder. For each of you as board members, I put a copy of a couple of documents at your place as we look ahead to this year's annual board planning retreat, which we normally schedule for January. I wanted to make sure that I reminded all of us that when we reviewed the scheduling of that last year, it was our consensus at that time to move that planning retreat to a weekend or the week later, 1 week later in January than what we have typically held that. So for your planning purposes, and then we also wanted to do a Thursday evening all day Friday rather than a Friday and a Saturday morning. So if all of that still works, it's Thursday and Friday, January 26th and 27th. It would be Thursday afternoon, evening, and then we would come back and work Friday like we normally do, 8 to about 3 or 3:30. And then the handout just includes for you our current year board priorities and a copy of what last year's retreat agenda looked like and an opportunity to review again this year's results on the district objectives. So in the next month or so, if you have feedback, input for either President Nunes or I, please let us know. We'd like to get the retreat planning done as early as possible. Any questions on that? I wanted to give the remainder of my time this evening for a special occasion. It isn't very often that we have the opportunity to induct new officers to the College of the Sequoias Campus Police Department. This evening, we're fortunate to have 2 officers that will be swearing in. And so I'd like to turn the podium over to our chief and give him the opportunity to conduct that swearing in of our 2 new officers.
Thank you. And again, thank you very much, Stan, for the opportunity to come before the board, and thank you to the board. It is a great occasion for 2 reasons. One, by adding 2 officers, we're rapidly approaching full staffing again at our police department for the district. And as well, it's a great evening for me as the chief to be able to hire my first 2 officers for the department. And I'm very excited about the 2 gentlemen that I'm going to ask to come forward. You know, the badge pinning, you know, is very important as part of our law enforcement career. And typically, it begins at the beginning of our career, and in some cases, when we move on to other departments, and it is a very memorable moment. Shane Heddick comes to us from the Tulare County Sheriff's Department, where he served as a law enforcement dispatcher. He is a graduate of our 133rd Basic Academy class, so he is a member of our alumni from the college. We also have a little bit of history with Shane, because as he, you know, reminds us not to remind him, you know, that his sister worked for us at one time. You might remember Officer Ashley Heddick, who worked for us as police officers for some period of time. Shane is now filling, you know, that role, and he is going to be pinned by his fiance Ryan, who will come forward, please. Here we are. And then I'd also like to introduce Officer Jason Gardner. Jason comes to us, I'm very pleased to say, with 6 years of law enforcement experience on a campus setting. Jason worked for the University of Missouri as a police officer for, as I said, 6 years. And he moved back to California and was able to get his post-certified here, and is now working for us as a full-time police officer, bringing with him a lot of experience for our campus. So we're excited about that. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and pin the badges on our new officers. Workers' comp not included in anything. Law enforcement, as defined under the California Government Code, I'd like to ask you to swear to your oath of office. We'll begin by I. Please state your name. Raise your right hand. I, and please state your name.
I, Jason Gardner,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California,
That I take this obligation freely,
and I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties. And that I will well and faithfully. I need to put that on the entrance desk. That I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Is it all right if they introduce any family members?
Sure,
in
that would
here?
be great. Come on over, fellas.
Yeah, so just if you want to introduce any family members that you have with you here this evening.
How's it going, boy? I just want to introduce, my grandparents are here, Calvin and Lorraine Heddick. And you want to raise your hand?
Yeah.
My mom's sitting next to him, Patricia Heddick. This is my sister, Ashley Heddick. Our cameraman over here, my dad.
Photographer, all right.
Heddick. And then my fiance's parents, future father-in-law Richard Rochin and his wife Dee Rochin.
Very nice.
And then my nephew Austin.
Don't forget Austin.
Congratulations.
Incidentally, Richard is president of the Wood Lake School Board.
Yes, he is.
Welcome, Richard.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you,
Congratulations.
thank you, Chief. All right, if you were here for the ceremony, you're welcome to depart if you like. We certainly won't hold it against you. This is going to be very enlightening, but thank you.
Come on, Rich,
Thank you
you
for
want to
coming.
stay at our board meeting? Yeah, okay, all right.
Okay,
Good
I am
night, you
glad
guys.
to see that we're staffed, especially given the fact that we have, the 3 campuses now, so I think that's very important. Before we leave, no, you're good, come on up. I just wanted, have we determined the location for the retreat this year?
Yes, I apologize. It's January 26th and 27th, Thursday, Friday, at the Tulare College Center.
Oh, good. Fine. Thank you. All right, Dr. Trimble, you are up next.
Thank you. Good evening. I had Megan send out in your packet the evaluation for last year for the Academic Senate and its committees. And basically, this evaluation has 2 parts. We review the initiatives that were set by the Senate and all of its committees, and then the outcome after the year to see whether or not they were completed. The second part of the evaluation is a survey that is put out to all governance groups on campus. And so that's tabulated for us, and then I compare it this year's with the previous years. Rather than go through all the pages, basically, when you looked at the initiatives, the vast majority of the initiatives were either satisfactory or they were completed. That's actually a fairly good improvement because last year there were quite a few committees that had a lot of initiatives that were not completed. Part of what helped us is that we determined that we had too many initiatives and that they needed to be reduced so that they could just focus on a few things. The lone exception was the Equity Committee. The Equity Committee did reduce their number of initiatives, but they didn't complete any of their initiatives. That also fed into the results on the survey. That committee, the Equity Committee, showed the most decrease in agreement with, that they met their roles and responsibilities. 50% felt they did not meet their roles and responsibilities. 50% of the committee felt that they were not effective in completing their initiatives, which was fairly accurate considering they didn't complete them. The committee that had the most improvement in the survey was the the Distance Education Committee. They had significant increases in agreement to that their workload was appropriate, that they felt they were being effective in completing their initiatives, and that they stayed on task. And the chair of this committee really did feel that a lot of this was due to the fact that, again, here they reduced their number of initiatives. I think the previous year they had 9. And so this was a lot more manageable. All of the other committees showed only minor fluctuations in the agreement or disagreement. At the end of that process, the different committees list a number of initiatives or potential initiatives. And so right now, the committees in the Senate either have or are in the process of setting their initiatives for this year. The Senate has approved ours. So our initiatives going forward, one of them is an ongoing initiative, and that is that the Academic Senate provides training, application training for adjunct faculty. This application training is given during the months of February or March, any year that COS is hiring faculty. We anticipate that we will be hiring a number of faculty this year, so we will be providing that training again. This training allows us as full-time faculty to talk about the application procedure and the things we look for in the application to try and help the adjunct make sure that they have a good, strong application going forward for full-time hire. Our second initiative is that we want to increase the attendance of our senators at the State Academic Senate plenary sessions. Last year, we were approved to carry forward some of our supply budget, or we use it for our travel. And we're using that money now to pay for other senators to go to the state meetings. This semester meeting, we have 2 new people that are going with us. And the way this works is the Academic Senate pays for the registration, and the registration includes attendance at all the meetings, plus breakfast and lunch. They'll be responsible for the hotel room and the dinner. They will be able to do that through their faculty conference fund. We hope to have even more in the spring. Part of the issue is to try and get it into your schedule because you have to miss a couple of days of classes. Third initiative is that the Academic Senate will be investigating the length of the semester to see whether or not there's a desire to recommend shortening the semesters. Some of you may recall that this was looked at a number of years ago, but the turnover at the Senate, they would like to take a look at that again. So they'll be looking at other districts and the number of days that they have in their semesters. Fourth initiative is sabbatical process. The Faculty Enrichment Committee is in the process of developing the process for faculty to apply for sabbaticals. That will be coming to the Senate. We will be reviewing it and approving it. And finally, the last initiative that we'll be working on is that we're going to be developing a CTE liaison position. This position has been recommended by the State Academic Senate, that local senates have this position as a part, as a standalone position on their Senate. The CTE programs, as I'm sure you're aware, have a number of unique characteristics, and they've been impacted greatly by a lot of the initiatives that have come from the state. And the State Academic Senate feels that the local senates need an expert to help us understand some of the issues so that we can make sure that all the faculty know and can support where needed. Once the position is developed, and it will, again, we'll be going through the Academic Senate, then we'll be going out trying to fill that position. And we will hopefully be able to help support that person go to state meetings as well to get the training. So if you have any questions about anything else on the evaluation, or?
Anybody?
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Dr. Trimble. Okay. Next on the agenda is item B, Costa President's Report Update. Doesn't appear like we have one today. CSEA report.
I would just like to give my high praises to the CSEA PACE Committee, the Professional Association of Classified Employees. They do workshops and trainings throughout the year for classified employees as well as campus-wide events. But one of their big things they do every other year or so is an orientation workshop, which Shelley Giles, who is our chairperson of PACE, actually wrote her master's on. And they just did one last Thursday. 27 employees that were hired throughout last year attended. And it's just a great event. And every employee that I saw the evaluations, just thought this was wonderful because there's so much stuff we never learn because there's nobody to tell us how this place works. And this orientation brings in people all day long from all aspects of the college and campuses to show them how it works. So it's just a great event, and I just wanted to praise my PACE committee for doing such a great job.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions? Not? Do we have a COSAFA report today?
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know, sorry, I just wanted to say a few words about the contract tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bryce Nakamura. I am the new COSAFA president. Don Nickel, our previous president, opted to not seek re-election this year, but he is staying on as a member at large. So we're happy to have him kind of stay on with us in our executive board. I wanted to thank John Bratch, Stan Carazosa, and Brent Calvin for their work with us on the contract and just kind of working through us with the negotiation process. The contract has been ratified at the end of September. We had sort of a get off the vote movement this year. It was pretty successful. We had a record turnout for voting on the contract with overwhelming support. And so on behalf of CASAFA, I just want to encourage the board to ratify the contract tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Bryce, congratulations on being president, and thank you for your words, and I'm sure the board will take appropriate action.
Okay, thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bryce.
Thanks for being here.
All right. That gets us to the one and only information item today, Dr. Lacerna.
So we're going to do the annual report on our high school partnerships. And as you know, we have numerous partnerships, but we're gonna focus today on 3 of them. And one of them, Vicki Porter, the principal of Visalia Technical Early College, is going to start us off and talk about the most recent information on VTech. Followed by that, Eric Thiessen, the principal of University Preparatory High School here on our campus, on the Visalia campus, will give you an update on UPHS. And then I will give you an update on our other dual enrollment classes at the various high schools. So I'm gonna invite Vicki to start. This is how we go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. My name is Vicki Porter. I'm the principal at VTech High School. I've been here before, so here I am again. I want to thank you for having me, first of all. This picture, it used to say COS Ag Center, I just want to say.
Remember that.
It now says VTech Ag Center, but we found that there was a little controversy. It was like, wait, we feel bad about COS name being down there, but it's kind of a big thing for us, you know, making the campus our own while still having it be a partnership with COS. So we would like to invite any of you that could ever come and do a tour. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised at some of the things that are happening on the campus. I'll just give you a little, this is going to be a brief update on the academics. Our current enrollment this year is 285 students. We started, this is our 6th year. We started with just 50 students, and we've added every year. We have now a waiting list for 3 of our classes, and our projected enrollment next year is 315. We've been adding 30 students every year, and our goal right now is to cap it at about 315. We don't know what'll happen in the future, but for right now, this is the plan. We had a strategic planning meeting, and this is where we'd like to cap it and just continue to build our program. So enrolled this semester in COS are 166 students, or 65% of our student population. Graduates enrolled at COS this year, 41 out of 51, or 80%. So our students are matriculating. At this point, the majority of our students either go to COS or into the military. A few of them go straight into careers, because we do have a college and career theme. But the majority of students, even students that tended to not have as their goal to go to COS when they first came, they end up, because they have been going to COS through our program, they end up continuing at COS. So that's our, you know, we feel great about that. This is what we do to support the students, because we have a lot of non-traditional first-generation college students that come to us. So we do provide support. We have a freshman class with the human development class, where they create a 10-year plan, and it's a college and career course that they plan what career they'd like to go to. They backwards map from there what college has that major and what they need to transfer from COS to achieve that. So it's a really good marriage of human development and the career planning course. We also have for freshmen an Ag 119, a student success course, where they learn about COS. They learn about which courses transfer, which courses they need to take, and how to navigate the COS system. We also have a zeros not accepted policy, so we do support students in learning study skills and learning to be academically successful so that they can be successful at COS. We have mandatory afternoon classes for students that need a little extra help, and we hire tutors from COS. We have COS tutors that come on Tuesday and Wednesday after school and help the students with both with their COS classes and with their high school classes. and we have a 100% graduation rate. We're happy to have achieved that year after year. But I think the thing that we are the most passionate about is providing equity as far as having students that may not be able to find their way to college, or maybe first generation ending up in college and successfully matriculating in college, so. With
Uh,
that,
Did you wanna
Vicki, thank
take
you
some
very much for that.
questions? Oh.
Presen- I just had a quick question.
sure.
You know, the 80% transfer rate, that seems quite good, obviously. How does that compare with previous years? I know the numbers are probably higher now, but percentage-wise, you have a feel?
It's a little higher. It's, I think it's because we've started to learn better ways to support the students, and they're now, especially, I think it will even get better. My projection is it's gonna get better because we have students that are starting as freshmen, as COS students. They're in COS courses as freshmen in high school. They'll have 4 years of, being in COS, so finishing at COS it's a given,
It's
so.
a natural.
So.
Very good.
Any other questions?
So you work for the Tulare School District then?
Visalia
Visalia.
Unified.
Oh, really?
We're a dependent charter of Visalia Unified.
Okay.
So when we started 6 years ago, in 2010, we started, and we were on the north side of the campus. And COS was still there, and then when they moved to Tulare, then we moved on. Visalia Unified bought the campus, and then we expanded the school.
Okay.
We have a
Love to
few,
have you.
we have a few students from where my children go to school, St. Aloysius, that are there, and
Oh, yeah.
they rave about it. They
Yeah,
tell all
we
their
do.
friends, you need to come.
Good.
So you have
Keep
good,
that up.
you have good recruiters out there. That's probably why you have a waiting list, but they love it, so.
Thank you.
And they're
for-
very visible at the fair and, your FFA program, so that's neat.
Yeah, we have an ag base, so the
Mhm.
fair is a big thing for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki.
Looks like Mr. Thiessen is next.
Good evening. My name is Eric Thiessen. I'm the principal at University Preparatory High School. This is my second year when I took over for John Kelly about 2 years ago. This is the 8th year of University Prep High School. We are a dependent charter of Tulare County Office of Education. And I feel that we work almost in tandem with VTech because we offer such diverse programs. But I know your students have come to us and our students have gone to you because we want them to be where they're comfortable. And that's what we want in our students. So just where we're at, last year we had 228 students. This year we're at 237. We find that we find about a 10% attrition rate just because of our curriculum. All of our courses are A to G approved, and so our courses are academically tough. The other thing that we set as a goal for our students is that they're ready for college classes, that when they come to COS classes as a freshman or a sophomore or a junior, that they know what to expect and they know what's expected of them. So we have a lot of instructors from COS not realize they have high school students in their classes until afterwards. Then they come back and say, can I just have a class full of high school students? Because that's what we want. We want them to blend in and be like a college student and not cause the problems that some high schoolers can cause. Over the last 3 semesters, I want to brag about last year. So we had a total of our students, we had 352 students totally enrolled in at least one COS course, about 51.5% of our students. They completed 525 classes for the 3 semesters, totaling over 1,600 credits. I know I keep bugging Brent Calvin about trying to figure out the FTs, and Brent, I don't think I'm ever going to figure that out. So we're proud of that because we want our students, while some of them will go on to earn their AA, we are directing them towards getting their IDETSI. So much like VTech, our students are so used to COS that our numbers are increasing as to who stays at COS. The last year, as you can see, our GPA is about 3.3 to 3.46. So our students are doing the job there. We have very few W's and very few withdrawals from the courses. So we feel that we're getting them ready for the courses that when they step into the college class, they know what they need to do. Some 3 highlights from last year. Last year, Jasmine Morphine-Davila, she graduated from COS with 3 AA degrees. The year before that, we had a student graduate with 1. She got 3 A's. I cannot figure out how she did that. I was lucky to get my bachelor's degree and be happy with it. She is now on at UC San Diego. So we completed 1,600 course credits last year in 3 semesters. And some stats that we look at, especially for the County Office of Ed, was 43 students completed English 1 or higher. That's an increase of 6 students from the previous year, and 33 students completed Math 154 or higher, an increase of 12. Our goal is to eventually have all of our students take the placement test, and we want to track that data on how well they're doing. We haven't gotten the data yet. We're still working. Our counselor, Sarah Pennington, is now as an adjunct counselor for COS to help kind of alleviate that extra person to help out. So we want to find out when our students take the placement test, how they do. Because they may place in the English 1 or Math 154, but they don't automatically take the course right away. So we want to keep track of how well they're placing. So this year, we have 98 students currently enrolled this semester for a total of 176 classes. That is down from previous semesters, but we credit that to holding our students accountable for 2 things that we require. Attendance, 95% attendance at our school, and have grades of C's or better at our school. If they have a D or an F, they are ineligible. If their attendance is below 95%, they're ineligible. Because we want them, like I said, we want them going in and being the best they can be. So that number will again go up in the spring and then again in the summer. So, any questions? That was my last one. No, I think I have one more. So from the class of 2016, 33 of 57 graduates enrolled at COS for this current school year.
That was my question. You answered it right there.
And goals for our students include ensuring all students are A to G ready. We want to prepare all students to enter Math 154, either their junior or senior year. Our math program is set up in a way that we feed them right into Math 154 or higher. We don't use Math 1, Math 2. We still use Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. So we fit in the flow for COS Math. We also want to prepare all of our students to enter English 1, their junior or senior year, and ensuring they're all college ready. And we can say, except for 3 students, all of our students, 100% graduation, have gone on to college. I say 3 because 1 went on missions and is finishing up his 2nd year. A 2nd student enlisted in the Air Force after last year. And our 3rd student, who graduated 2 years ago with her Associate of Arts, took a semester off to work and is now back in school here at COS.
Okay.
Thank you. That last slide answered the 2 questions I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
So aside from those 2 partnerships with UPHS and VTech, we have numerous partnerships through our dual enrollment program with the other high schools. And as you know, the dual enrollment are where the students are taking a COS class at their high school during the regular day, and in most cases it is in lieu of their high school course. They're offered during the day, like I said, and they're tuition free. So the cost of going to COS to take your English courses or whatever you may take after you finish high school can be, well, it's not that expensive, but $1,000 a semester, and they get these classes for free while they're still in high school. So that's also a good benefit for them. So I just wanted to give you the data from last year. So these are our, just for our English courses in our dual enrolled classes, our success rates for 2015-16. I know that's small up there, but you guys, I think, have big copies in front of you. We had English 1 and English 251 in Corcoran in the fall, and we had a 100% success rate and a 95% success rate. Hanford High, Hanford West, and Sierra Pacific, those are the Hanford schools. We had 94, 84, and 89% success rates. Mount Whitney, 72%, Orosi, 100%, and Woodlake, 100%. So the total for all of those is 92%, and that's combined English 1 and 251. But to compare, at COS general, success rates for fall 15 in English 1 were 58%, and for English 251, they were 62%. So we really attribute those high success rates in the high schools because of the support that they have from the high school, whether it's VTech or UPHS or these other high schools. They're in the class 4 to 5 days a week. their counselors are supporting them, their teachers are supporting them. If they start missing, they really are required to be in class because you can't miss class when you're in high school. And they are getting the support that they need if they don't do well. And so there really is a lot of support and extra that's given to them when they're taking it at the high school. For the spring, we offered all English 1s except for Corcoran also had an English 2. The Corcoran English 1 and English 2 were 100% success rates. Hanford High, Hanford West, and Sierra Pacific, 71, 71, and 63%. Mount Whitney, 87%, Orosi, 96%, and Woodlake, 100%. And English 1 at first spring of 16 at COS General was 57% success, and English 251 was a 52% success. So total combined here was 86% success. So we feel really good about that. All right, and then I wanted to show you, both Vicki and Eric talked about the students who enroll after going to COS. And so what this shows you is in the, of the students, the second column is if they took English 251 or 1 in high school, how many of them are actually here at COS. So you can see 40 of the 62 in Corcoran, 3 of 18 in Hanford, 9 of 25 at Hanford West, 8, and you can see 18 of 31, 5 of 23, 3 of 19, and 6 of 19 with Woodlake. So about 43% of the students end up at COS. One of the things that the students in the dual enrollment program happens is they go on to a 4-year college. Their English 1 goes with them and is a transfer level course at any college they choose to go to. So a lot of them are going on to straight to a 4-year college. Then the last thing I want to share is just where we're going. As you know, there's been new legislation with our dual enrollment across the state, which has garnered a lot of interest from the high schools. So we've had lots of contacts and lots of folks interested in increasing the classes. And so in the fall, currently we have these courses we have 3 classes or 4 at Corcoran. We have the English 251 and 1 in Exeter, English 251 in Lindsay, English 251 at Mount Whitney. Orosi, we have English 251, and then a History 17 that's not a true dual enrollment because it's offered after school, but it's mostly their high school students that take it, and English 251 at Woodlake. We also have Hanford, in the Hanford schools, again, all of the English 251, and the English 405 is a support course. It's an additional study hour that those students receive, and the same teacher teaches it, but it's an additional study hour, which we've also found to be a very successful model for supporting students through their English classes. Again, in this semester, we have Tulare Western. We've added on the Tulare, three of the Tulare high schools. So we have English 251 and 1 with the support courses at Tulare Western and Tulare Union. And then at the Tulare Accelerated Charter High School, we've started a new collaboration with them, and we're offering our electrician training 200 level course, 3 sections of that, and then 2 sections of our human development student success course at the Accelerated High School. And then, as Vicki and Eric have already talked about, these are the courses that we're collaborating with University Preparatory High School on. We have 2 ASL, a music, Portuguese, and 2 Spanish courses that the University Preparatory High School students are taking as a group. And then they all also enroll individually in numerous courses. And Vicki mentioned, but we have the 2 Agriculture 119 sections at VTech, English 251, English 1, and 3 sections of the Human Development course. So that is where we are with our dual enrollment. And I'll entertain any questions that you have for the 3 of us.
Questions? John?
Not all the high schools participate. Is that our choice or theirs?
We have we've given them a lot of information and the guidelines and how it fits, and so all of those at this point who have approached us with interest, we've implemented starting this fall, and so anybody else is just not there yet. We may be in discussions with them, but they've not taken it the next step to get something implemented.
Have you asked all the high schools?
Yes.
Including Alpha?
Yeah, yes, Stan's been out and personally visited every school district and talked about it, invited them, and then we've sent out informational items to all of the local superintendents and principals and just waited to get information
I
back.
keep mentioning Alpha, because they're out in the middle of nowhere and they're really poor.
Mhm.
I don't mean poor quality, poor people.
Right, right.
Now, Farmersville, we're still having an instructor problem of finding someone to teach the class.
Yes, so some of the schools, we haven't been able to, in most cases, the schools have a teacher or instructor who is qualified as a COS instructor and we interview them and they go through our regular hiring processes. And in most cases, the high schools have a teacher on site. In some of the cases, like in Woodlake, we have a COS teacher who is not a high school teacher who's teaching that course, and that's the same for one of our Hanford courses at Sierra Pacific. So it really depends on the model, but Farmersville, I believe that is the situation.
Where are we with the Visalia High School?
So only Mount Whitney has stepped forward at this time. I've actually I went last spring and met with the superintendent and all of the principals and talked about the program. As of now, only Mount Whitney has, and then VTech and UPHS, excuse me. Only Mount Whitney, VTech, and UPHS have stepped up to work with us on the classes thus far.
Now, is there any things in the mill to expand other courses?
Yes, right now, we have lots of requests from numerous high schools. And so we actually have a planning meeting tomorrow morning on dual enrollment in general and trying to figure out how we can provide the best services to the high schools without getting overwhelmed on our end. It's it's very detailed to try to just navigate all of the classes we have in English this fall. And so we're looking at some different models, like looking at the academies at the different high schools and seeing, can we go that approach and offer something in each of the academies? But we get numerous requests and we just can't do them all. And a lot of it is because of the issue with if there's an instructor available, and then also facilities. If you want a computer class at the high school, you need to have a lab that fits at least 25 to 30 to 40 students. And if you want an agriculture class, you need to have those facilities available to do that. So we're working on the best way for us to implement that and to collaborate with the high schools.
Anybody else?
Well, I want to express my appreciation from Cutler, Rosie, and Woodlake. It has really been a benefit to the students in those two high schools.
Thanks.
And the parents are very, very pleased about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I would just like to commend Vicki and Eric and Jennifer. Not only is this great information that we see, but it's a great benefit to the students that are taking advantage of it. And so, we don't see all the work and the background that it takes to put all these things together with the various school schedules, and every school does things different, I'm sure. So, we may not say it, but we really appreciate all the work that goes into getting this accomplished. And further, I'd like to commend, looks like Corcoran and Woodlake success rates are outstanding. Earl, maybe you have something to chide your cohort down there about.
We have a good instructor at Woodlake.
And we really do.
And the students just love her. I just get nothing but positive feedback about that particular program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and thanks to Eric and Vicki for coming and helping today.
All right, good news. So with that, we are moving to the item nine, the consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. An item may be removed from the consent calendar at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees or any person in the audience and considered as a separate item. So with that, are there any items on the consent calendar that anyone would like to remove and act on separately? If not, then I will entertain a motion for the approval of the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Very good. All right, action items. Item 11, curriculum.
And I know Dr. Weissy thanks you as he's walking out. He was here because he's taking the students on one of those trips that you just approved on the consent calendar. And Andres, they're going on the trip to the Grand Canyon University, so.
Great.
Have fun.
And Andres, you don't have to wear a coat and tie to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I relieve you.
He looks good, though.
He's on it
You might get special treatment, maybe you should.
Okay, so you have the curriculum report before you. And I just, first of all, on page 1, there are 3 typos that I apologize for, but I'm going to point them out right now. In the first one, the first course, the second course, and the last course on that page, it says the curriculum committee approval date of 9/8/2017. Obviously, that should be 2016 because we haven't gotten to 2017 yet, so I apologize. We just caught that error today. So if we can make that change when we approve this to the curriculum committee approval date of 9/8/2016 for those 3 courses. The first page is new courses, so we have 4 new courses for the Fire Academy that are newly required courses for state fire training. We have a new course under civic learning for the Pathway to Law School program. On page 2, we begin with course modifications, and these are all, the first one's a 5-year review. The next 3 in the child development program are just a change in the name of the class to align with their curriculum, a statewide curriculum alignment program. So we're only changing titles there. Modification, 5-year review for the intro to vet tech. And then, on page 3, we have 2 more course modifications, both 5-year reviews on veterinary office practices and welding. The rest of that page, we have deletions for courses that are no longer being offered in the construction program. Page 4 is also a deletion of a course no longer being offered in our IT program. Then we begin the programs, and these are all modifications or 2-year reviews for our career technical education programs. And then on the last page, we have also 3 more 2-year reviews of programs in our industrial maintenance and our paralegal programs, and they're just minor changes for those programs. So I recommend that the board approve these courses and programs.
Ken, I have a question.
Yes?
Yes.
Under construction, why are the deletions, are they not needed? 'Cause I would think the construction business is pretty busy right now.
They redid all of those courses. I don't know, Thad, do you have the specifics on it?
I wouldn't have the specifics, but if we didn't reduce our overall offerings, we took out some courses, replaced with other more relevant, current, appropriate courses.
Correct.
But the overall offerings, the total number of sections, total number of courses did not change. Or didn't change, but appreciate it.
Okay.
Anybody else?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second for approval of the curriculum, new, modified, and deleted. Any additional discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 12, resolution to permanently transfer funds from the Hispanic Serving Institute Fund to the general fund.
Good evening, that's just about it. Every year, we come to you for your approval to transfer some of the interest earned, which we're allowed to transfer 50% from the Hispanic Serving Institute Trust to the general fund, and we utilize that for our MESA, Math, Engineering, Science Achievement program.
Okay, this is an ongoing annual resolution, so with that, do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of Resolution 2016-14. Megan, would you please poll the board?
Trustee Zalmal?
Aye.
Trustee Mann?
Aye.
Trustee Cardoza?
Aye.
Trustee Sherman?
Aye.
Trustee Nunez?
Aye. All right, resolution 2016-14 is unanimously adopted. Item 13, board policies, first read.
Okay, we're beginning our fall cycle, continuing work to review, revise, and update board policies. We're in the 5,000 series, dealing with student services. Tonight we have before you a first reading for 4 of these BPs. They are non-10+1, but have been through our BP, AP review and approval process. So as you can see, the strike-through represents language that's being deleted. Bold and underlined represents new language. So the first one, 5120, regarding the transfer center, proposes an update to the language that was previously there so that this language represents the specific services and purposes of the newly refurbished transfer center. So you can see that there under BP 5120. The next one is 5200, and it's dealing with student health services, and there were no appreciable changes here, an opportunity for it to be reviewed and be renewed. The next one is 5210, communicable disease. Again, aligning with new health required language so that we're current regarding requirements for the Center of Disease Control. And then the last one on tonight's first read agenda is 5800. It's prevention of identity theft in student financial transactions, and language there that just cleans up and reflects an update on the language for 5800. These are first readings, no required approval tonight, but our recommendation would be action to move them to a second and final reading, and then they would be back for another round of review and consider approval.
Move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the first read, move to second read for approval at that time of board policies as indicated, 5120, 5200, 5210, and 5800. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. Mr. Bratch.
As Bryce mentioned earlier tonight, we have good news in that the district and CASAFA reached a tentative agreement on a successor collective bargaining agreement. It's a fairly short and straightforward tentative agreement, only 2 pages. The highlights are that following along the lines of the other employee bargaining units, both the district and CASAFA agreed to a 6% salary increase, which would be effective October 1st if ratified by this board. The other highlight is that this is a 3-year agreement effective June 1st, July 1st, 2016 through June 30th of 2019. And in the spring of 2017 and in the spring of 2018, there will be an opportunity for both sides to reopen negotiations. This time I would ask that the board formally approve this tentative agreement reached between the district and CASAFA.
So moved.
Second.
Question, discussion, John?
I see that Karen Erickson did not sign the document. Is that a material, is that an issue?
She has since signed the document. She came in, I believe, on Thursday or Friday of last week and signed the original document.
Right.
I had submitted this to Megan a couple days beforehand.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you very much. Mr. Nakamura, thank you for being here. As we move on to our final item on the agenda, item 15.
We have 2.
We have item 15.
Right.
Mr. Bratch.
Before you tonight is a request by administration to reclassify a management position. The the position being the Director of Research, Planning, and Institutional Effectiveness. The request is to reclassify that to a dean position. Now, reclassifications are authorized by the law in the Education Code for management and classified positions. And essentially what a reclassification is an upgrading to a higher classification of a position due to a gradual increase in duties. And that's what we have in this case, a gradual increase in duties over the past several years. For a little bit of a background, in 2011, we had a vacancy in the management position of Director of Research. That position became vacant, and rather than replace it, the district decided to keep it vacant due to budget cuts during that time period of 2011. Of course, in 2012, we were hit with the bad news of being placed on show cause, which caused the district to reevaluate its processes and procedures. And one of the things that was really realized is that a Director of Research is absolutely vital to the continuing success of our institution. So in 2013, we made the decision to reinstate the Director of Research position, and we created a job flyer and a job description and ran the position. The position was filled in 2013. Over the next several years, however, we realized that the job description that we created back in 2013 probably, or not probably, it wasn't complete. The position of the Director of Research, Planning, and Institutional Effectiveness took on a whole array of new duties that were not incorporated into the original job description. That position became incredibly vital in all system operations from just about every entity on campus. So pursuant to the law, we realized that it was a great opportunity to get this director position to where it needed to be, and that being equivalent to a dean position. So tonight, I'm here requesting that the position of Director of Research, Planning, and Institutional Effectiveness be formally reclassified to a dean position. The end result is that the salary will increase from a range 29 to a range 30, which results in about a $3,000 a year increase in salary to that position. So with that, I would ask that the board formally approve of this reclassification.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the
I'm sorry, go
approval of reclassify the Director of Research Planning and Institutional Effectiveness to a Dean of Research Planning and Institutional Effectiveness. Is there any further discussion on this item?
I just want to add a little bit more context to the description that John's provided. We went through the process last year as we have continually updated our management handbook to develop and codify a reclassification process and timeline for management positions. We hadn't had anything before that was codified, that prescribed a timeline, and that was transparent in outlining the process and the criteria for reclassification of positions in management. So we did that, and it happens each year in the spring, consistent with reclassification timelines for classified positions. We also received other requests for reclassification. I just want to go on record as saying it's a fairly rare occasion. We talked about this a lot as a management team, and I sought input from other managers who have a title similar to this one without going through the whole application or the review, just to enlist their feedback and their input as fellow managers who are at the dean level. And it's not something that happens very often, but occasionally there is a situation like this one where the scope of responsibilities for an assignment I'm gonna use the term, we're under-titled in the beginning. When we hired a director, we hadn't had anything in this position other than a director before that. And honestly, I was new and didn't know what I didn't know. So the alternative to a reclassification in a circumstance like this would be to eliminate the director position and, in a sense, put a current employee in limbo and then open up a new dean level position and create the opportunity for that new employee, along with others, to interview. With that as the alternative, I didn't feel like that was the right sequence of actions to take in this particular case. Even though in other cases, when a position's been vacant, that's exactly what's happened. But that to me didn't feel right or fair to the people involved. So while it's a rare occasion that we bring forward a reclassification, we are bringing this one forward tonight with our recommendation. And I would have done this sooner, since this whole process ended in June. But you all know, one of the things that I talk to you about all the time is that if we're gonna take any action on management types of positions, we wanna delay any of that kind of action until other scheduled actions that affect our classified faculty and adjunct employees have all been taken care of. So this comes to you tonight, it's not by accident that it's following the ratification of our collective bargaining agreements with others, because it's my philosophy that we would entertain a change in a management position after those other things are all taken care of.
All right, thank you for that explanation. Mr. Zumwalt.
I'd like to elaborate a little bit, encourage the board to vote yes. The five of us are amateurs when it comes to education. And in order to decide what to do on a lot of academic choices, we listen to people like Stan, Thea, and Jennifer, and others. But that's not good enough, really. You know, is without data, how do we know that that what they said is exactly what we ought to be doing? Most of us been on the board long enough that we struggled when we had good data, when we had no data, and when we had bad data, and then now we seem to have good data. And 5 years ago, I didn't understand how important good data was. And it's the only way that we can evaluate what people tell us and do sort of a check the next year or two to make sure that worked. And, so it's a tool for us, and I think you all agree with me, and I hope we all vote yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, I believe. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you very much for that. And now, John, before we move on to item 16, at this time, I would ask that we excuse our President Superintendent, Mr. Carrizosa, while we discuss this last item on the agenda. And Stan, you will be excused from the rest of the meeting, and you, I suppose you could enjoy the football game tonight.
Well, it's another rare occasion that the superintendent president's asked to leave the board meeting. So, but I understand and respect what you all have in mind. I do think it's only appropriate, though, that I say this, while you consider action to amend the superintendent president's contract, and I'm not sure what all of that is. Just remember that in that contract, it says any amendments need to be mutually agreed to.
Okay, Mr. Bratz, you're on.
With that being said, during this past year, the board had an opportunity to evaluate the superintendent. And during its evaluation, one of the things, to my understanding, the board realized is that there is no job description or salary parameters associated with the superintendent, which is a little bit odd because every other position on campus does indeed have a job description and or salary parameters. This is something that I know the board wanted to fix, and with the help of several staff members, I know a board member or two did create a job description with salary parameters, and that was presented at the June 2016 board meeting, and that job description was formally approved. Also during that meeting, it was discussed, to my recollection, the various differences in this general area between chancellors, presidents and superintendents, as well as the duties that they perform. As Stan mentioned earlier, we have finalized employee negotiations for all three bargaining units. And tonight represents an opportunity not only to reclassify a dean position, but also to look at the superintendent's contract. Mr. Carasos's contract is a three-year contract, does not expire until June of 2018. However, it can be amended by mutual agreement, and it's my understanding that the board would like to discuss that three-year agreement with Mr. Carasosa. And with that, I will turn it over to the board for further discussion.
Thank you, John, for introducing that. And with that, I would like to say that we did complete the superintendent president's evaluation sometime earlier this year, and it became very evident at that time that the board policies and priorities, we had had great success with those, none the least of which was the implementation of the COS 2.0, guiding us through the issues with our accreditation. And I think we, with the help of faculty and the community at large, really, we came through that probably better than we were before. We've also been able to achieve fiscal stability to a level that I had not seen since I've been on the board. A lot of it also having to do with the fact that the state budget has improved. I will acknowledge that. Also, I was very happy that we were able to pay off the Tulare bands without having to go back to the voters and ask for additional money, as was recommended to us by some of the consultants. We're also, as we saw here in our reports today, have been successful in partnering with local high schools for the benefit of the students, and that's a very positive function as well. We also came to find out through our research that COS has been very effective in spending much less on senior level management and administration when compared to other districts within our area. In addition, I also feel that, and it's evident that we have saved funds from the coordination of the CEO and the combination with the Office of the President. So with that, I would open up for any further discussion that we may have.
Okay.
John, please.
I've been on the board for 23 years, and during that time, I've served with 7 superintendents. Some pretty good, some not. But in the process of hiring those various superintendents, the board has interviewed maybe 35 applicants. And amongst those 35 applicants, there were a number of them that we didn't hire that we perhaps would have, or probably would have, if we hadn't made a different choice. In other words, several times there's been more than one applicant that we thought would do well. Sometimes the candidate we look at is a very experienced person. He may be a chancellor or a president someplace else. He or she may have a track record that's extremely impressive. Or it may be a real young person who's a vice president someplace and is looking to make the next step up that really impresses us with being a go-getter, but have not proved themselves yet. And that's the rationale we use to try and set the salary range. You know, you would offer a higher salary to the first person I talked about, and a lower salary to the second person I talked about, and see if they work into it. One of the real struggles we've had whenever we've tried to recruit is the salary's not high enough to get applicants that we'd like to get perhaps. But yes, if we just had a single salary, it didn't leave us the room to not spend district funds that weren't justified. And so that's how we ended up with that range of 300,000 to 200,000. Going back to the 7 superintendents that I've served with, like I said, some of them are quite good, and some weren't. Stan, in my opinion, is hands down the best of 7 by a large margin. Whatever we pay him is nothing compared to what it would cost if the previous ones had been here instead. And it would be a real, it's unjust to continue paying him what we pay him now, far less than equivalent positions elsewhere, far less than he could get if he went somewhere else, and it doesn't show the difference between ability that he has and the entry level somewhere else. And so I'm kind of rambling a bit here, but I think it's important that in this case we recognize that we currently have the best there is, and I'd like to make a motion that we amend his contract to $300,000 a year, effective July 1 of 2016.
Second.
A question, John. That would be, can you put an ending range on, an ending time frame on that?
I think probably 2018, which is when his current contract ends. And unless the board wants to have a longer date, I would be perfectly comfortable with the president, you, negotiating a longer term than that with him. How about 3 years? How about January 1, 16 to June 30th of 19? That make sense? You like a different number?
No, I was just looking for, I was just
January or
looking for
July?
input.
I meant June. Mr. Arby, July 1 of this year through June 30th of 19.
Okay, any other discussion?
I would just like to say I've been on the board half the time John has, but I still.
Which is a long time.
It still has
though.
been a long time. I've been through 4 presidents. And I would honestly say that was probably one of the toughest roles I had to be put into in my first, second year as a board member to interview and to decipher and to look at applications and then look at experience, to call, on the references and really try to hear what people are saying. It becomes somewhat political, somewhat emotional, but then it comes down to kind of a gut feeling, because someone can sit and talk, and really we wonder if they can walk that talk. And it seems it's very clear to me, and now having been able to work with Stan directly as a board member, I've just been thoroughly impressed with the fact that when he came to the college and sat down and interviewed with us, he has done everything he told us he would do. And I don't think he overestimated. I think he was cautious. He knew what he was coming into. Obviously, we know what happened with Show Cause, and I think he handled all of it with such passion for our college and our community and our constituents. And I just think in today's world, that's just I think it's a rarity to have someone so dedicated to the community and to take the time to foster and find the right people for the right jobs. And I just agree with everything John said, and just try to say it in a different way.
And I really like the way you elaborated, because that's absolutely true.
I've worked with when we were doing the success program, I worked with a lot of the presidents, superintendents of other colleges in the state. I think there was 7 or 11 of us that worked together, and Stan is by far the best of any of those. So we're very fortunate to have him.
Okay. Anybody else? I have a question for Mr. Bratch. The current contract started when and was for what, and has there been any adjustments to it?
It started July 1st of 2015 and it ends June 30th of 2018. The max you could do is a 3-year contract.
Yeah, but there has been no adjustments made in the amount. Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second, I believe, but we've had discussion, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you all for staying till the end, and we'll see you at the next meeting.